the show got more expensive, and it had a bigger crew. But there was never a format. Every one of them was different. There was never a boilerplate. Every script started with blank paper, blank computer screen, and every show was completely scripted. I mean, I love that I'm in the non-scripted category because it's like, really? So what's in those banker boxes? I've got 20 banker boxes of finished scripts. Exactly how did that happen? But no, this is the non-scripted category. I still get a little bitter about that sometimes, considering I've spent 80% of my waking hours the last 15 years writing Good Eat scripts. But there was never a format. There was never, every show came out of research. We generally had about anywhere from 300 to 600 pages of research for every show. And out of that, you would find what the story was going to be. And then I slowly was able to take on employees, like culinary people who would become very frustrated with me because I'd be like, I don't care how it tastes. I mean, yes, I care how the dishes taste, but the dishes are story points. If they, you can't eat through the TV. What I need are characters. I need stories that work. And I will change a dish, and I might even sacrifice some of its flavor if I can't make it make sense. And we actually developed this recipe form that just drove everybody crazy in my office, where every line at the end had why. And you had to justify every ingredient and every step, because it's very easy in recipe development as you kind of take things from other sources and move them around to kind of hide the engine room, so to speak. And so everything had to be explained, drove everybody crazy. But it's like, look, if there's not a why, it doesn't go on the show. There has to be an absolute reason for everything. What we make is not good food, we make sense first, and then the people at home make good food. And if we don't give them the sense part, they won't be able to make good food. Or we'll be right back where we were back when I was sitting there copying down recipes from television, and we're not going there. The shows always began with the food. We would look at each season as a box set. Okay, well, I wanted, what are we going to do this season? And Food Network was always really great. They never asked me for scripts. I never had to show them copy. I only had to give them the season list and brief descriptions of the show. They were wonderful that way. They were kind of like, you just go. We were careful to make sure our base of operations was in Atlanta because nobody from New York wants to go to Atlanta. So they never want to come visit the set, which is complete genius on our part, I thought. One of them came once and stayed half a day and just left because there's no shopping. And if you shoot in summer and have them come down, it's 100 degrees with high humidity. They're dying. They're literally dying every minute they're there. So you get them out of the way. But we would look at the list of potential subjects, and then delve into research, and then you would just try to find an idea out of that. And sometimes they come easy. If it's a dish-related show, then all you have to do is really kind of tear it down and put it back together again. If it's an ingrediential show, that's more troubling because what you're trying to do in that case is you're trying to teach something about that ingredient. I remember for a long time, avocados beat me because I'd be like, okay, we're going to do an avocado show. I love avocado shows. Okay, so guacamole. And then anything? Could not figure out how to make an avocado show. Drove me crazy because it wasn't going to be like, well, we can slice it and put it on a sandwich. No. We can slice it up and put it in a... No, that's not the same thing. And so I shelved that show for literally years. We'd get it out every year, and then I finally was like, okay. This is my fault. I'm not thinking clearly. Let's look at it on a molecular level. Let's break it down. Let's not talk about what you can put an avocado in. Let's talk about what's in an avocado. And then when you start thinking about the fact, okay, well, what we're really dealing with here is a fat. Well, okay, well then that starts to all of a sudden change things. So then we ended up with a show where we made an avocado frosting, avocado butter, and avocado ice cream. Because it's a fat, why wouldn't you? And in doing so managed to communicate something about what an avocado really is. And so sometimes those were easy and sometimes those were harder, especially if it's something that everybody knows how it ought to taste. And yet you can't just make it like everybody else makes it. You can't say, okay, well, we're going to get The Joy of Cooking from 1962, and we're going to take that, and then we're going to take, maybe a James Beard recipe from the 60s, and we're going to put them together, we'll have a new recipe. Well, you can't do that. You got to figure out what the story is in the end. And with enough research, you start culling down the research to what's interesting. What do people really need to know? What helps? What doesn't? And then you stare at a computer screen for a while. And it gets really late at night, and you stare at it some more, and then you start typing.